you overcame this, or you took on this situation constructively. You told your daughter, this isn't going to kill me. Yep. This is just another situation that I'll have to go through that will lead you to greater and better things.
You decided.
And exactly. And so this doesn't just happen overnight. Yeah. This is a choice every single day.
And that word choice
is
a big, bold word.
Yeah. I'm getting the God bumps now.
It's almost like it was your I say this a lot, like there's a choice that the universe gives you when you've learned all your lessons and you think you've learned all your lessons. And, you finally, like your situation, you finally made that choice to leave your marriage that wasn't serving you anymore. And then all of a sudden life threw you something big again. And it was like, oh shit, now what do I do?
So we got a great one today. We interview an amazing person that goes into an amazing story of dealing with cancer, to divorce, to just life going to its all-time low and how to handle it in such a positive and uplifting way. I know you're going to be able to gain so much out of this, no matter where you're at in life. I know I did. We go into so many different topics, from the medical side to the metaphysical side, to just mindset and things beyond that, where we get into the dynamics of men and women and expressing ourselves fully. So if you're a human wanting to engage and learn how to just build up your strength just internally and to give more to the world, you're going to want to pay attention to this podcast. So I hope you get a lot out of it as much as we did, and stay tuned.
All right, so we're going to jump right into it. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're here today?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Ilanna Fiorenza, and I'm a mom of 2 now young adults. Oh my goodness, I can't even. Their birthday is this month. And I have been a direct sales company for 20 years. And through in 2015 to 2017, went through quite a whirlwind of my life, which led me to the love of my life. Yay. And I've been with him for 9 years. And we just bought a house in 2020. And so through the hardest just depth of the bottom, kind of rised up to have a great story today.
Fun. Well, can we go ahead and start with kind of that period of your life and just walk us through what you went through? You said 2015 to 2017?
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, so married for 15 years and kind of at that 7-year mark. Yeah, I'll just stick to it, right? It's all good. Always say is like the hardest thing to make the decision in 2015 to divorce. Wasn't an easy decision. It was a 7-year decision. And finally had the courage with great therapists. Hypnotherapy is good too.
Yes. Love the shout out.
The great therapist gave me the courage to understand that it was a choice whether I was in false hope, right? And so I realized that's where I was. It wasn't just hope. It was false hope. And at that moment, I filed for divorce. Meantime, the whole entire year, beginning of 2015, I was discovering a mass in my right breast. And for the listeners, there's breast density. And I just want to put a plug for that because so many people doubt themselves as a woman. And if you have density, there are new laws and new rights that we have as women to get more investigation. And there's a company called My Breast Density or Density Matters. Go look it up. You'll find it.
Okay.
And every woman should know about this, right? And so they pushed my mass off as dense breast tissue. And because of that, I was like, oh, whatever, right? But then rolled down and I had a second one that popped up. And by the time I discovered it, there was 4 tumors. In the meantime, I filed for the divorce in the fall of 2015. was still going through diagnosis to figure it out, and was finally diagnosed after I came back from a trip. And then I had a fourth one and was radiating to the others and just kind of talking about it. So I am an action kind of girl, but I also am probably one of the most authentic people that you will ever meet. And I basically really pursued the answers to what was going on. So your also brain tends to go in protection mode, right? As we all know with trauma, right? And any kind of protection, these things kind of will unravel themselves. So I went to get a biopsy and I didn't know why I was there. Right? So my brain automatically went, well, I don't understand why I'm here. So I go on the table and I went into my yogi mode and I removed myself from my current circumstance. As he was doing the biopsies, I had 4 biopsies. He's like, I have never met a patient that is so still as you. But I was also removed, right? Because of my practice for so many years.
For your practice, you said you're a yogi. Like, is there a specific type of yoga or?
So just doing yoga, meditation,
Breath work.
Yes. Breath work. Doing that morning routine, listening to the right things between my ears, being open-minded and audible as well, like being open audibly. That's my new word, whatever, right?
Love it.
Receptive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Love the collaboration in the words, yes. When your yoga teacher is speaking these words and that is really coming from their heart or their soul, and then I'm listening to this, I'm like, oh, yeah. And your tears just flow down your eyes and you're like, oh, I could feel it. So the practice of breath work and removing yourself from your current circumstance, putting your mind in a different place than where it actually is.
Yeah. And so you'd been doing this meditation in yoga practice for 20 years before you got the diagnosis.
So my diagnosis was in 2016. I was discovering it in 2015. So that was 9 years ago. So I always go by my daughter. She's now almost 24. So it's 15 years probably, or before that I've been
amazing. And I only wanted to establish that because that's just incredible to have. You're a master almost at that point of like, really just not the mindfulness, but really living in a very conscious way, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And then, so then going into this experience with the biopsy, you were like, okay, boom, I know what to do. Drop out, the body, or, be aligned in that way.
And totally. Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Mind you, my birth of my children were no medication either. So both of my kids, I had no epidural.
Oh my gosh.
So it was that huge practice of mindfulness when you're going through that birthing process.
Yes, I'm actually learning how to do hypnobirthing right now. And so it's I got
goosies. So I get goosies. Those are called my God bumps. When people or I say something that is true and right, I get goosies.
Love it.
Yeah. I love the God bumps. That's really, I'm writing that down. That's great.
My God bumps. And that just has been a progression of intensity. And then when I got back from Bali in April, it was super intense. So so the practice of mindfulness has been since my kids were little, since I brought them into the world. So I started practicing.
Just really equipping you for so many different things. And then this intense time comes, you get into the biopsy and you're like, okay. And you're like, wow, you're like so still and calm, but it's because you've had, years and years and years at this point of just not being a habit, but your lifestyle. And so then what was kind of the next steps after that?
Can I just put a side note is thank you. Like putting the pieces together. And that's why we build community and conversations and do things like this, is because the next person that's listening to this, your listeners will be like, oh, that's why I get it. I love that. Thank you. Yeah. So I sat up in the bed, on the wherever I was, and I looked at him and he says, we'll let you know in 24 hours. And I said, Doc, you see these biopsies all the time. Is it breast cancer? Mm-hmm. And he looked at me. I mean, I wouldn't want to have his job. And he said, yes. And at that moment, my body went into shock. So I got dressed. My honeyboo was waiting for me. I filed for divorce in 2015, right? Mm-hmm. Then I was just kind of messing around. And I actually met the love of my life 1 month before I was diagnosed.
Wow. I don't know why that's going to make me cry. That's so sweet.
Yeah. Don't make me cry. Come on. So again, to me, it's a God thing, right? It's like this process of spirituality and evolution as we move through this world is intense, but beautiful. But the power of mindfulness and being in the moment. And so I was just being, right? And finally made the decision, divorce, put a huge weight off of my shoulders so I can be.
Yeah.
Right? And so just messing around. And then New Year came over. And so I was hanging out with him and I was diagnosed. He was waiting in the waiting room and I was coming. I remember it clearly coming around the hallway. And I, at that point, just started like, almost like just shaking, like my whole nervous system came on. He followed me because I just like went, and he followed me. So what's going on? And I said, it's breast cancer. And I put my hand and my knees dropped. And I don't remember after that. I don't remember anything after that. And then I was still living with my ex-husband. Whatever. But at that point, once I was diagnosed, I remember telling my kids, I told them individually. I remember my daughter's reaction. She was watching TV and I said, honey, can I talk to you? She paused the TV and she said, yeah, I know you've been going to the doctor. I was like, what? I said, Mommy's got breast cancer, but it's not the cancer that's going to kill me. And I didn't know that.
Yeah. But that was already your mindset.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that for sure. And I talked to her. She's almost going to be a 24-year-old this month. And we share the story together again. And she says, okay, turn his TV back on. Me as a child.
Yeah. Well, she's heard this is what I have, but it's going to be okay. And so she didn't have to worry, which also manifests itself differently. Yeah. So you're not putting worry into her. You're giving her some safety. And so it helps with how you set the tone with the vibe that you communicated, because I believe words are your vibe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, and it's interesting because I don't remember my son's reaction. I'll talk to him about that. He probably remembers. And I told him separately, consciously, so I didn't want them to pull off one of each other's. If one had fear, I didn't want the other one to give it to it. Mm-hmm. So then the journey began to healing, right? So I moved out of my household home in between my rounds of chemotherapy. Chemotherapy was not a very well-received notion. Mm-hmm. They have a new thing. They send the tumors back to California and they do what's called a mamma print. And the mamma print is basically the tumor's behavior. It's whether the tumor is going to be nice or not. And mine was not. So they do a lot of fear mongering, in my opinion, in healthcare. That's why you guys are doing your work that you're doing. And so I ended up having chemotherapy. Through the 4 rounds, I moved out of the middle of them. I moved out of the household home. It was a gift because I was busy. Right?
So, wow. First, wow. My mother-in-law just went through breast cancer and she had the most aggressive chemotherapy. I think they call it the Red Devil.
Correct.
Were you going through that?
No.
Okay.
Fortunately.
Okay.
But I had a friend. I was a breast cancer group that also I was so grateful I was part of. My nurse navigator asked me to be in it because of my attitude. Mm-hmm. She's like, you're really not in that age range, but you need to be with them because they were a little younger. And unfortunately, it's something, again, that really you got to listen to your intuition. If anything changes or it's different, don't be afraid to ask. Mm-hmm. Like, literally, you're in control and nobody else is in like you to do something about it. Right. And that's really kind of probably my tagline for the rest of the life. Right. I just put one foot in front of the other. And that's all I had.
Yeah, I always say you have to move with your heel toe to get the health that you need. You know, there has to be some kind of action.
And that's why I think moving out of my household home also was really great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was about to say, what did you actually do besides chemotherapy? And so that's one big move is getting out of that home, right?
Right. So I knew at that point that I said, you have to leave because I can't do this with you here. You know, he's a great guy and is a great human, but I just couldn't do this. There was too much that negativity.
Yeah, I was going to say the energy is affecting your body. So it's going to affect and cause maybe illness, disease, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think of that.
Wow.
And hinder your healing, really.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, when you're in the house with somebody who you just don't mesh with, even though they're a good person, it's hard. I don't know if I'm sure our listeners understand this, but I went through the same thing. So my ex-husband and I got divorced during COVID, and because it was COVID, like I filed for divorce in January of 2020 and had to stay in the house until May of 2020. So 5 months. And it was, we had thought it was going to be February, but because of COVID and everything, like we couldn't find movers. So I understand what you went through. You have to be in that same house. And it's hard to explain to people who have never been there how hard of a situation that really is.
Sounds like it's like beyond a drain, you know, where it's like you're almost like you're in purgatory. It's like, you know, that was over, but you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And it's probably really exhausting.
Yeah. I recently actually, based on what you're saying, is I heard someone tell me recently, which that's why I love community. Like, of course, you can tell I'm a people person, right? Mm-hmm. Like I just thrive on people. She said, she is a holistic wellness person. And she said, I found so many people who've been struggling, going through a challenging relationship or family or something. They end up getting breast cancer. And she said, because your heart chakra, right?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I always see hearts. Hearts are my thing. Your heart is so open and you're constantly getting all these things that are coming through and taking on other people's stuff. And so that's a journey I had to grow in learning how to guard my heart.
Oh, yeah.
That's amen to that.
To allow people. So this marriage that I was in for 15 years, 7 out of those 15 were a struggle.
I want to say something. I'm glad you're bringing this up because this can be a polarizing topic for people because health is so personal and cancer is so polarizing.
Yeah.
But how do you take responsibility of this? There's obviously what did the past bring to your present, right? Which is this relationship that wasn't working out, that was a stress for at least 7 years, probably prior to that as well, right?
Yeah.
But it all just kind of gets to a point where we have enough.
Yeah.
And you're bringing up this light that this health disease manifests from something beyond just a physical ailment, right? Mm-hmm. And so how did you come to terms with that? And what was that process like, acknowledging that, receiving that, and taking on the fact that you were taking too much on and having to set up boundaries for yourself?
Yeah. So believe it or not, that's a recent experience. Mm. So when she said that to me, I was like, dang girl.
Yeah.
Just connected those.
Yeah. And you're connect this.
Yeah. But again, I think that break, I think I had it intuitively. I think I knew that I couldn't heal properly with this angst. And that's why I feel like my love is what it was healing. Like he was my saving grace. Mm-hmm. Because I went through every life challenge that you could possibly go through in 1 year's time.
And talk about timing.
Yeah.
Right.
In all the ways. Yeah.
Great. Yeah.
I always say, oh yeah, get it all out the way. Right. Why not? Let's just have it all at once. Yeah. And have to go through it over and over again. But that heart chakra thing was really recently. And I'm like, but intuitively, I have guarded my heart. In other words, learning in my direct sales business with Mary Kay Cosmetics, I've been in for 20 years, deal with a lot of people.
Yeah.
I deal with a lot of stories. As an empath, I'm like, oh, I just want to save the world. I want you to be okay. Are you okay? Yeah. Like, are you okay? And then you sacrifice yourself, right? Yeah. So that's when my boundaries, protecting my heart and my mind kind of always have been played in. But she just like kind of made that connection to saying all this strife and this pain as an empath that I take almost unconsciously. That's why I have to have like energy healing. Mm-hmm. I have to have it extracted.
Yeah.
In so many ways. Just to your point though, like there's the medical side and there's the metaphysical side, right? I would love everybody to not follow the science so much. That may offend.
It would be amazing.
That might offend some people listening, but maybe not.
Well, I mean, you got to look at there's proof of work here from everything from the 15 years that you were putting into practice to build the resilience to handle things, because it's not what happens to us, it's how we respond to it, right? Your resilience.
Wait, there it comes.
Right? Exactly. And that you overcame this, or you took on this situation constructively. You told your daughter, this isn't going to kill me. Yep. This is just another situation that I'll have to go through that will lead you to greater and better things.
You decided.
And exactly. So this doesn't just happen overnight. Yeah. This is a choice every single day.
And that word choice
is
a big, bold word.
I'm getting the God bumps now.
It's almost like it was your I say this a lot, like there's a choice that the universe gives you when you've learned all your lessons and you think you've learned all your lessons. And, you finally, like your situation, you finally made that choice to leave your marriage that wasn't serving you anymore. And then all of a sudden life threw you something big again. And it was like, oh shit, now what do I do? And you had the choice to go back into old ways, or use everything that you've learned along the way to fight and make those right choices and take those actions. And look at where you are today. Now you had the universe then, if you chose wrong, would have given you other things to in your
learn
path,
those lessons.
To learn those lessons. Sounds to, obviously you're here today doing what you're supposed to be doing, living, helping other people. And, so now there's other things that'll be in your path, but damn, congratulations.
Can you go into that science versus metaphysical? Like, don't trust the science as much, because there's usually a blend, but I think we've gone way heavy into only this bucket versus you seem to have this mix of both.
Like what you did metaphysically, because you did other things when you got the diagnosis to get through this?
Yeah. So first of all, I was way against the chemotherapy because it was way against anything that I believe. But I also trusted my surgeon wholeheartedly. And he looked at me in the eyes and he said, do the chemotherapy. You are going to live a long, long life. I trusted those words, and I still hold on to those words today. And that is going to make me emotional for some reason. Yeah. But okay.
But it shows how powerful words are.
It is. Squeeze your butt cheeks, you stop.
Because I'm a cry.
Okay.
I'm learning something new here.
Write that down. I have a plethora of information.
Yeah.
But see, it shows how powerful words are. Like if your surgeon says that to you, which I don't think everyone says that to their patient, and why patients just think they're going to die, and then they do. And so, like, I want to go back to the word disease, and I think Justin talks about this a lot, the meaning of words. We know it's dis-ease. So you felt dis-ease for so long, and this buildup happens, but now you're able to take control and have powerful words said to you, and you say powerful words to your daughter, that then you have this transformation and you do things, right?
Yeah.
Change everything.
And I told him that too. He recently retired. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I had breast cancer when I did.
Yeah.
Because I had the best team. Again, timing, right? Timing of everything. Same thing with my nurse navigator. I mean, the way that got delivered was crazy for my And I always say, it's just me, like my individual self, like, and stuff like that. So going through chemo, the metaphysical versus, right. So I took the medical stuff that I was going through, but I also took the chemo bag and I actually prayed over it.
That's
And I actually visualized little creatures coming in and zapping anything that was bad, but leaving the good.
Wow.
so the intention behind all of this, what you were saying with words, what your surgeon, his intention behind these words is really what we're reading,
Yes.
right? It's the intentions behind these things that really matter. Your beliefs
Yeah,
behind those words and that intention.
absolutely. Absolutely.
You were hypnotizing yourself.
Exactly.
What you're doing. It's 100% self-hypnosis. It's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I was doing it. I didn't even know.
No.
It's amazing. Yeah. That's why it's so impressive hearing, like, it's no surprise to me that you went through this very awful experience, like this warrior goddess, because you had all these years of just these reps of being mindful, knowing how to use self-talk and language in a way that's like for you and powerful for you. Even the way you described how you told your kids, like I told them separately because I didn't want one of reaction to like influence the other. I wanted them to have their own experience. And, and you also made sure to guide the conversation by letting them know, I have this, but I'm not going to die. And then they're like, oh, okay, great. So it's like all of these things are like really using the power of language and all aspects of it. It's clearly like you have your living, breathing example, obviously, how powerful it is.
Slay.
Yes. Exactly. Yes.
Thank you.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
So after you went through that experience, or how long did it take for everything to be taken out? Or like, what was the experience?
So I had then, my surgery was about 8 hours. And then coming out of surgery, I was like all loopy. And this is, again, the legacy, right, that we get to leave with our children. And even if we don't have kids, the people that we surround it is the choices that how we choose, that word choice, how we choose to go through any of experiences, good, bad, or indifferent. There's two ways. We can, it can be half full or half empty, right? We can choose to see it as the gift, God's protection or his provision, or we cannot. We can live in our misery, or we could decide what are you grateful for today? So sidetracked. So tell me that again. Squirrel.
Oh no, actually I wanted to even say that that's really amazing, that delineation, but that like you wake up and so, because some people are like, oh, do affirmations work? Or like, oh, like there is so much doom and gloom, but it's like you do have a choice. And so if you do have a choice, wouldn't you rather choose to feel better and choose better thoughts? Like if both can exist and you can choose, why would you not choose to feel better and experience
what's more empowering?
Right.
And so that's kind of like, that's just amazing. Like even thinking, I never, we're all so used to that. These are our habits. This is our lives. And it's just so interesting.
The question I have for you is like, so one thing that I would say that an average person or our listeners may be thinking, or even I'm thinking is like, how did you take this whole, but you clearly didn't want chemotherapy, right? And I resonate with that a lot. And you took your surgeon's advice that you didn't have these worries. You still meditated and prayed over the chemo bag, and you were able to do this visualization. How did you keep those worries from popping in and then having those feelings go out into the world? Because I think the big thing is like, to Hope's point about like everybody saying all these affirmations and all these things. The key is, yes, your words and what you're saying and thinking, but it's actually the feelings,
The deep realization.
And so how did you get over, like, how did you block those worries? Did you ever have them?
I didn't.
Okay. How did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think the biggest thing is with a worry is to have it. But so again, I go back to my training and my years before that I was with my direct sales company with Mary Kay. So the company's values are faith first, family second, career third. And I'm telling you, it is like the most positive quality company you could ever be with, but not. Right? Because challenges are challenges, and people are people, and the only thing that will really disappoint you are people, right? So understanding that an emotion is emotion, you can't, for me, I believe that you can't push it away. Because if you push it away, it's likely to come back.
Probably bigger and stronger.
Right. So again, feel it, be in it, and then move on.
Yeah.
So I go to this feeling I had in Bali. So in Bali, I went this last April, we did these 12 fountains. And I got to about the 7th fountain and just started hyperventilating. I had no idea why. I mean, I do, but at that point it was freezing. It was like cold plunge. I was like, and it was shaded. And then all of a sudden I decided to just say, thank you. And this light, and I believe that God is giving me this power of light. And this light came down, and I'm getting goosies. And the light came down, and I just started sobbing. So each one of the fountains meant something. And I believe the fountain that I had that transformation was lazy. It was laziness or lazy. So I had to sit with it. What in the world? So this had been an emotion that I was feeling for a long time, that I'm not doing enough or being enough or doing, like, I'm perceiving it as lazy. And it's not lazy. And then lazy people are presented in front of me, right? Wow. So and I was sobbing for like till the 10th one. So for 3 more fountains, I was like shaking and sobbing and shaking. And I had no idea. Again, just let it be. So back to that sense of being, like, be it until you become it. And so you have to feel the feels. I remember one time we had moved, I was with my kids. My kids and I got so close. They learned how to do their laundry. Because I stopped doing that. They learned how to. It's like they were this whole experience, what to be grateful for, they are so independent. And they're so strong. Yeah. And the words that they say to me, I can't even, right? And the people that they are right now, like, hello. I call my son my mini-me. Okay. My daughter is learning now to be more positive. She's a little bit more than her dad than I like. But so I was putting up a light or changing a light bulb, and I was on a ladder. This was in between my rounds of chemotherapy, and I'd fallen. And so this emotion of why me, blah, 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 like, like, why? I'm done. And she said, Mom, get up. Let's figure it out.
Wow.
Okay. I mean, the first time they left me and I was in a chair because I'd gone through chemotherapy and I couldn't really function. And they went out for the first time without me for Easter. I mean, I was sobbing the entire day. So what people see when they meet me is this, oh my goodness, like, I can't believe that you went through this. But they didn't live it. And nobody knows it unless you go through it. But every experience is different for every different person. And that's why I started the community, to build a container to allow people to show up as their authentic selves. That through the hard, is it really hard? It's just your next best. And so, yeah, that's where I am today. Questions more.
And I think what's so important about your story is about the crying being, it's like a release. I think I heard this.
Yes.
It's a release of, like, you have a story in your head which is causing you to cry. So then you cry and then you release the story. Yeah. And then you can go beyond it. So you can feel better afterwards, even though no one wants to cry or I don't want to cry. It actually can help. And maybe that actually helped you.
Oh God, yeah.
To do all there. It's so there's a psychology behind it. There's you allow yourself, just what you said, feel it. And when you're feeling it, you're crying, you're letting the emotion out, and you're letting the blocked energy out.
Wow. And so then you're clearing it on your own. A lot of people are taught, hold it in, don't cry, or
put it underneath the rug.
Especially men are said, don't be a baby, stop your crying or whatever. Yeah. So now we're holding in our emotions. Now we're blocking our energy and we're going into this whole cycle. So yes, it was very important. So you didn't let the worry in, one, but you did feel all the emotions that were there, and you let them out through emotional releases, whether it was with your crying or with your energy work from your healer, so you were realigning your chakras.
And I'm still doing yoga.
So
wow. And yoga is amazing for relief.
Yeah. So I had an 8-hour surgery. And my kids, they took video of me coming out of the surgery, and I'm like, hey, and my ex-husband comes in. I'm like, hi, Stevie. They got it all on video. But that kind of, right?
Yeah.
It's like that innate, just like, hey.
Yeah.
So to that fact as well, my son, when he was younger, my ex-husband would always say, stop crying, don't cry. And I'm like, But honey, if you want to cry, you could cry. Yeah. But he's like, Mom, you made me into a cry.
You may tell him next time you see him. He could talk to me. He's alive.
It's your chakras.
Yes, your chakras are alive.
Well, and there's also, I know we're more on the metaphysical side of this, but there is an amazing science to all of that, of what is happening physiologically. So over time, even if it's, I always like to say lowercase t trauma or uppercase T trauma, chronic stress happens to us and it is stored in our body. And specifically, obviously, it affects our nervous system.
Yeah.
And chronic stress, as most people know now, probably from this podcast even, is one of the leading causes to all of these variety of different health issues. And so there's that somatic response of physically allowing yourself to just feel what you need to feel in the moment so that it can move through you, and then also not be trapped in your nervous system or your body and lead to XYZ. So you're doing all these things and you're just oh, this is normal. Yes, that's amazing.
How long did you go through this process from surgery to chemo and diagnosis and everything? What span of time was that going through? Missing Easter? You mentioned not feeling doubt, but still feeling the emotions. And just because you're not doubting doesn't mean you don't feel low at times, but you don't let that drag you down.
Yeah. And giving myself the time to do it, right? When I was going through chemotherapy, it's the first week you schedule yourself for nothing. The second week you're better. And so that's the gift that I got was every 3 weeks. Not everybody has that gift, right? And so bring me back to the question. Sorry, I squirreled.
So in terms of the duration of time that you were going through this?
So from divorce, from the time onset that I filed for divorce to my final round of chemotherapy, and then I had another surgery for the implants. And then the following year, I had another surgery for the implants. And then I had a surgery for my toe because the chemotherapy radiated down my meridian in my toe.
Wow.
So there's the side effects of chemotherapy that have been quite everlasting. But wait, I got to not say that anymore. Where is it? So I met with this girl. She's like, you're healed. Your body's regenerated. I'm like, yes, I'm doing a water cleanse every week now. Right? Just that regeneration. So really a year. And then I was done. And then I had 2 surgeries the following year. Then my divorce was final.
What was if there was a crescendo where it's you knew it from the get-go that you were going to get over this and it was going to be another chapter in your life. But when was that confirmation of was there a confirmation, or was it just blended into the next series of the next chapter of your life?
I think there's constant confirmation is what I want to say, because I feel like every step of the journey, from the moment I was in my household of 15 years raising my kids, and I had these people would come to the door, and there was a gift, and I just went whoosh and started crying, sat on my bed, and I said, oh my God, that's just me. Why are people doing this, right? And that acceptance alive.
We're
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, you felt alive.
I was on chills.
Oh, it was literally like I could still feel that. And I just it was almost pushed me back to sit down, and I was just sobbing. And someone said, "Oh, my sister was there. She came in from California." And my mom, everybody kind of took turns because I didn't want to be codependent on my husband.
Yeah.
And I just said, I'm just like, oh, me. She's like, what's wrong? I'm like, all these people are coming here. Could have been the drugs. I don't know.
Maybe a little bit of all.
Either way,
Thank God. We'll talk about that medicine. So I was still accepting of the medicine to get me through it because the pain was real. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I lowered the medication sooner before they said, just because I didn't want to be dependent on it. I think that's important to really know your tolerance and what you can. So there was definitely a balance of that. Also went on tamoxifen for 4 years. And then I told my doctors I was going off, and they're like, you're not finished. And I said, I don't care. That's destroying me.
And what is that?
So tamoxifen is a cancer medication that keeps the cancer from growing inside of your body if it should. So it kind of keeps the cancer away, because my tumor was angry. My tumor said, you have a higher risk of coming back. So again, once I moved on, to answer your question, I started to disbelieve that. So
good.
kind of get bamboozled sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially when you're vulnerable. And so I knew that what it was doing to me was not good. I had 2 surgeries to remove polyps that were caused by that. I went off of it. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. Nope. They called me 6 months later. Are you sure? Yep. Nope. They wanted me. Then they put me on a postmenopausal chemo drug, and I couldn't even walk up the stairs. So done. I had a steroid given to me to combat something else, and I couldn't breathe. That was walking. The other one was walking down. I was walking up the stairs. I couldn't breathe, and I'm going up the stairs. I'm like, Rachel, go get me Benadryl, and I dropped. So medical, listening to your body and standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
And really intuitively knowing this is just good. So I'm on no medication today, only holistic stuff. Yeah. So I think it's an ongoing decision.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a question, because obviously, again, you've got your training, like years and years of mindfulness and meditation. You're going on these trips and traveling. You have all these different experiences that have allowed you to be super in tune with your body. And if for someone listening today who that's like a completely new concept, where did they begin in your perspective of how do I know what's for me? What are some steps or things that you would recommend people to start doing to get in tune with that inner voice, or that even physical of oh, this isn't for me? Because I think it's easy to forget the starting at that point, because it's just who you are at this point, especially. And as someone who says they're an empath and all these things, you've already been living this. But if someone's this is a brand new world for me, where in your perspective, is a good starting point? What pops in your head?
Yoga.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. Amazing.
It is.
Movement.
Okay.
Movement. So habit stacking, right? So my spiritual leader, who I went on these different retreats, what are you reading? Who you hang out with? Do a clean sweep of those things. Who are you surrounding to? How much are you on social media? What's going inside the 6 inches between your ears? Because that's a dangerous place to stay.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that's the first thing, is take a
an audit.
That's the word. Thank you. Retrieval. The audit of your surroundings. We taught our kids at a young age to really pay attention to their surroundings. If you're walking, if you're riding your bike, pay attention to things that are around you. Look at the people, stuff like that. That was one of the things that I had to do. And even going through all this process, the family members want to just protect you and take care of you. I had to say to them, actually said to my mom, this is my cancer, not yours. Lay off. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And I also said, I have 3 sisters. And I said, when I was diagnosed, the other thing that came out of my mouth is, why not me? Because I would be the one that'd be coming up on the top if it was one of us that had to have it. So start with that audit. And I love Insight Timer.
Yeah, that's a good one.
The app.
No.
That's great.
Say I gave you a new life. Just kidding. Like Insight Timer. You know it?
Yeah.
Live.
It's like, I would say
What
it's
is
like, I would,
it? So
it's
what
a
does it do?
meditation app. It's just a meditation app.
It is a meditation app, but it's also like teachings. I also have an app called the Miracle Morning, and I do that every morning. And it's silence, affirmations, reading, scribing, which is writing, journaling. So I'm a big journaler. That's also where I would start. So really those 5 things, right? Who are you hanging out with? Audit that. And you might have to have some hard conversations. Because if you're feeling negative, then there's negative Nellies around you, right? So many people want to hang out with me because I'm not, right? Yeah. But also they may have something that would affect me. So I have to make the decision. What are you reading? And are you journaling?
So good.
Journaling.
So what do you think the journaling does for people? If you're a big advocate for it, what do you think it does?
I think it's speaking to the universe.
Okay.
Yeah. I think getting it out of your head so you don't have to think about it anymore.
I'm the biggest journaler. I'm so about it. It's like saved my life, like over years, especially when I first kind of started on like a self-development path, I guess, whatever, spiritual path. And for me, what it does, because I'm like about to start snapping to everything you say. I'm like, yes, I'm 100%. We're totally
I can't
aligned.
snap, so I say it.
But specifically with journaling, it's like when you're a big feeler, an empath or a sensitive person, which I also identify with all those things. Sometimes it's so big, like in your mind, you know, the thought or the feeling, and you're like, it's like taking my world down. And then you write it out, like go to sleep, and you wake up and read that. You're like, wow, it's really dramatic. Like, you know, like it's not that big, you know, but it needed to move through. Like it's not to diminish or say that it's bad, but it's like, you know, you really can your mind can take you into such a crazy place. If you're not using these tools to kind of put up guardrails, kind of create, you know, paths or tools or exercises to really, you know, make yourself feel better. Yeah. So it's just interesting.
Yeah.
I love speaking to the universe. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a really good one.
Yeah. Yeah. And the habit stacking again, it's like, so every morning I'm learning to go for a walk. I know the seasons are changing, not a fan, but
I have a sunshine.
I got a hoodie and all this stuff. I'm like, so going for a walk every morning, movement has been a key player in my healing. Yoga, I would sit in the back of the room. I've had the surgery and I couldn't do anything with the top half, right? So I had multiple incisions and I would just go back in the back of the yoga room and I would just be. And so being in this space of that energy, and while you're walking, I have headphones in my ears and I'm listening to the Miracle Morning, or I'm listening to Insight Timer, or what's that girl? Who knows that woman? Abraham Hicks.
Of course. She's an OG.
I love her. Yeah. So we have morning conversations. And I think that literally will change the direction of your day.
Yeah, because it sounds like you're listening to stuff that puts you in a good mood, right? It just
perspective
gets you excited and happy.
Yeah. So in the Miracle Morning, you can, like, again, I'm an Audible kinesthetic learner. And so reading books doesn't always hold retention in my brain, especially after the chemo medications. Those are a lot of the side effects of the medical, is all the medication and stuff. So that's what I'm like, my body's healing. I'm going to do water cleanses every week. They feel so good. You ever done them?
No, I don't know what that is.
What do you do?
Done it?
No, I'm not familiar with that.
24-hour water.
Oh, water only fast?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, just like a
It's all you drink is water?
Water only.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have coffee in the morning, but it's fine. It's still liquid. You can have coffee.
Fasting, amazing. Absolutely.
That's a spiritual awakening in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can do it. You can. You start off like eat breakfast and then eat dinner, or eat lunch and then eat the next day.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different varieties of it. But I don't know where I was going. Okay, back. That's gross. There's a lot of squirrels.
Well, I want to get back to your story about your kids doing the laundry. So was some of this part of it was that you were doing too much maybe for others and not maybe resting or taking care of yourself? Or
Yeah. So when I was going through chemotherapy, they really saw that they needed the help. They knew that it was us three now, right? And they knew that it was that they had to be responsible for stuff. I think my daughter, being a girl, she problem with that.
Yeah.
My son, I mean, he's a mini me. And so, I mean, it's so cool to see all the things that he learned through the process as the young man today, including crying.
I wish more men cried. It would solve a lot of problems. It's like,
So they had to pick up the pieces with me. And that was hard.
I need to bridge into that real quick, just as I was going through this. Yeah, it is kind of women have a double standard, men have a double standard, where it's if we show our vulnerability, especially to the women in our lives, we get judged on it.
right.
And that's why we don't do it, because it's like, if I open up to you my fears, my worries, my insecurities, I'm no longer that man who's holding and being the rock that you need to be when you're insecure.
And it's super shaking in my head right now because that is exactly what my son said.
And that's the thing. Women need to be receptive to that. They need to be okay with crying
But there are two sides.
The truth of it is, though, is that like journaling, for instance, so much therapy in that. Like, men aren't taught, if you're pissed off or if you're angry or if you're feeling some sort of way, you don't need to go anybody. Just write it down, write it out, free write.
Not all men are taught that, though.
No. And that's, so there's this aspect, like, yes, crying is absolutely a key point to it, but we need to learn how to process those feelings and express them. And then not only that, have another man to go to.
Yes.
And that's the missing piece, is I don't need to go to you with my problems. I need to go to another man who can understand and appreciate and hold me in that way.
Son's number to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very important.
It is really important. I think I've seen it with men in my life too. That's why. So some of the men in my life, they joined this group called F3. It's a fitness group, and it's really helpful because when you're working out, you can talk about, your emotions and work.
You can process it.
Very, it's a loving container, even though they're doing like manly, like height, like runs and rocks and all these things, but they're there for each other.
Yeah.
And that's the most important part of it. And you're also getting healthy and that. So you have that fellowship.
Yeah.
And that's what like Justin does. Like when you work out with him, he brings up and talks about or lets you talk about what's bothering you and works it through your thoughts and changing of perception of things. And even when you talked about journaling and you said, you have these thoughts and you write it out, it's almost as if maybe we have some negative thoughts when we're tired, right? And we need to take a nap.
oh my God.
And then wake up.
Stop.
Right. And then we get over it.
I'm going to lay down for 20 minutes because there's nothing that's going to make this better.
Is what I say.
Permission granted.
Yes.
Even as women and women and even as young adults, because I have a daughter that's 24, permission granted to take it 20 minutes.
Such a game changer.
Like it is a regeneration, and you can't do this. You can't. Who said?
Yeah, we're on the rules. Let's go. Yes,
we're taught that's. I mean, in society as a whole, you're taught you really need to keep grinding forward, never take a break. All of these things, and it's like we just got to take a step back and say, notice what you need in your body right now, and do it.
But I think even to add to that it goes to the question of like, how do I know what I need? How do I even start with that? And I think that's what's so exciting about this conversation is that there's, obviously you've had this lifelong journey with it, but there are these really tangible tools people can start doing. Okay, so say I've never journaled and I'm trying to get in touch with myself. What do I journal about? How do I start? Because it's like you're like speaking to the universe, or for me, I'm just writing out my thoughts. There's like a million different ways you can go about it. Is there anything specifically? Do you journal?
So
I feel like you're a big writer.
I love writing. I love writing. And so this is actually a weird conversation for me right now. So I used to journal a long time ago, but it was more, I was told to journal to my spirit guides and like kind of ask what I needed and talk about like my ideal life. And so that's when I started journaling. Then I stopped. I had just, you know me, I'm like this crazy person that is always busy. So then I stopped. So then over the weekend, I'm so sorry for sharing this personal story, but over the weekend, my son, his girlfriend is living with us, and she made a huge move from California to Chicago, moved in with us, left her family, and she was very family oriented, and she's going through a very hard time. Like she's thinking her dad's having some hard time with her being gone. She's missing her family. And she thought, I might need to go back home. And she was sitting outside alone. And I felt compelled to go out there because she's been a blessing to our family. She's helped my mother-in-law through cancer. She's kind of a giver all around. And she said to me, we were talking and she said, I go, is there anything that we can do to help you? And she talked about this dream catcher and how she used to make dream catchers at home. And she likes to like only catch the good vibrations, let the bad vibrations out. And then in like 3 months, when the dream catchers caught the dreams it needs to, served its purpose, we'll have a burn party. And I said, that's super cool. So totally into that. And she goes, the other thing that I haven't been doing is journaling. And I said, okay. And she goes, will you journal with me? And I was like, oh boy.
Wow.
So we went to the craft store. We got our dream catcher stuff. We made them on Sunday, and then we each got a journal. And so I was like, I don't know what this was last night. She asked me how the journaling was going, and I was like, I don't know. I wrote everything.
Well, that's why we're bringing this up. We're like calling you out, but using other people. That's amazing.
I just texted my daughter. I'm like, I can't remember this stuff. I texted my son. He won't know what I'm texting him. So 2 things. One, you are so on the money, and I hope that the men or the women, whoever's listening, can tell their men or the man in their life through this progression of raising my son, having him. He's also very intuitive. He would see spirits when he was young, and he gets scared with them. And I'm like, it's okay. Only the spirit's trying to talk to you. Crazy mother thing.
We're normalizing this.
Says it too. So
but his grandpa died in COVID, and he saw full clarity. His grandpa going like this, and it freaked him out as a young adult. Yeah. But again, tapping into him to his own intuition. So he's teaching me. He's a reader. He's a leader. He's going to be an entrepreneur. You know, he's so amazing. And he is reading a variety of books because, again, to the listeners, where do you start? What are you reading? Who you hang out with? What are you listening to? If your parents or someone had told you never be a crier and you're a crier, knowing that that's okay, but maybe there's boundaries and try to develop it. And so the exact things that you said is what he's going through. Mm-hmm. In other words, he feels like, he's like, Mom, I know, but what do I do? He talks to me all the time. And he has a very, has a girlfriend, a serious girlfriend. And I feel so bad. I always want to like lean on her and talk to her, but I don't think he should. Everything that you said, he's like going through right now.
And
thank you for bringing that up.
I'm a first generation raising my son in a series of generations of men who have been raised by women. And the dad has been a yes man, let the mom take over kind of the reins of certain things that he should have taken over. And we learned this through generations. So, and this is where we got in the toxicity, this realm of toxicity. And okay, what can I do? I can't do anything. We feel lost. So there's this polarity of going from one side to the other, where it's like, you got the Andrew Tates who are going hard on this side, and then you got the other ones who are just like, say yes to them all the time, happy wife, happy life. And I'm like, no, it's not that at all. It's stand your ground, be authentic, be real, but you don't need to shed all your shit onto your wife or your partner or your girlfriend, because it's not by design. You're meant to be the rock. You're meant to be the one who holds his ground, when she comes to you with emotions, because women are inherently emotional. It's a feature, not a flaw. And it's meant to test us.
Old
You're
school.
constant.
Men are for Mars, men are for Venus.
Absolutely. But if we can hold our ground and be strong, doesn't mean that we don't feel. It doesn't mean that we don't have an empathy. We feel very much. We get taught to shut it down, not feel it, push through, and it causes a lot of pain.
You gotta put my son on a podcast with you. Oh my God, you two would be like,
Yeah.
And he's only 23.
Yeah.
22. You know, it's just, so that's what's so incredible as we're changing in these generations.
Yeah.
What could we do? Someone who's not used to it, if you're not an empath, you don't have to be an empath, right? But what can you do? Journaling, start an evening journaling and remember every part of your day.
Boom.
You know,
Even just writing out what you did.
gratitude.
Yeah.
Do a gratitude.
Yeah, that's
journal.
huge.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
huge.
grateful I got to yoga. I'm grateful I got up. I'm grateful that I was walking. I'm grateful. Like, that's really where you start.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to bring up a message. So for our listeners who want to start journaling, especially our men listeners,
Love it.
So I told I don't know if she's soon to be daughter-in-law or whatever. She's like, here, I'm going to give you some questions. And she said, what negative self-talk keeps me from experiencing peace, and how can I replace it with kinder thoughts? What part of me resists peace and why? When I feel overwhelmed, how can I return to my breath and find stillness?
And you're sending me those.
Yeah.
Well, that's great. Those are great because it's like you don't just like you don't naturally think these things. Like those are really great. That's great.
I got a prompt that I'll share with you too that I do personally. And this has been a good structure of like, okay, where do you start? So first one is like just getting comfortable writing. But I learned this from one of my mentors, and it's start with 3 things that you're grateful for. Gratitude journal. It beats out depression, medication it beats out everything. So gratitude and simple things. I'm grateful for this chair that I'm sitting in. You find things that are not so obvious, right? So it opens your awareness to what you're grateful for in the world. So you start to see gratitude everywhere.
You might not be grateful that.
No, not at all.
And so starting with my bed's so comfortable.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Or you have shelter, you have food, you have heat, you have water.
Not to interrupt, but just go back to that kind of feeling part that when I was going through that, again, I'm a journaler. I literally had to sit there and say, I'm grateful for hearing the bird.
Yes. The little things.
And it changes that immediate
Switch.
It interrupts the pattern. It's pattern interruption.
The thing that I know.
Sorry.
When you were describing your story earlier, like not feeling doubt, not experiencing doubt, you don't give pain a voice. Like it'll come in and go, quit, stop, can't do it, no. And it's just like that person in your life that you used to pay attention to that you don't pay attention to anymore. They're still there. The noise is still there. It's just you're so focused on this that it doesn't even exist in your world.
Yeah, I love that. Gratitude journal.
So the prompt that I use is 3 things that I'm grateful for, 3 things that I'm gonna win the day with, and it all has to do with me. It's not an outcome based; it's an action based item for me, right? So simple, like gonna go do this podcast today, like that. That's one thing to win the day, right? Go out with my son, work out with him. That's another thing, win the day, those types of things. And then these are the really powerful ones is how did I help others today? Come up with 3 things. Wow. And this is the real powerful one, which you'll be able to relate to is how did others help me? So receiving help.
My goodness.
Right?
Giving and receiving.
Yeah. So the receiving help. And then, and you can do this all.
Product coming soon.
Well, there's actually.
He will look at those download.
So there's
I can see why you said I'd be a perfect fit. Yeah. Digital. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. The last one, which is the most powerful reflection long term, because you got books, I've got journals stacked.
So do I. Yeah.
Moleskin journals all the way through. The last one is what I learned today. So if you can walk away with learning something,
it's so incredible to have, because not only is it's like you releasing and getting in touch with yourself, it's just like think about like being able to like bring that level of just consciousness to your life
every day.
Like it's so easy to like be an like pilot.
Yes.
Like, not even there's so many days where when I don't do those practices or my mindfulness or whatever, I'm like, what day of the week? Like,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on? Like, because I'm running from thing to thing.
Doing stuff.
Luckily, I'm in a place in my life where I love all the things I'm doing. So it's like exciting and beautiful and wonderful, but it's like being able to actually pause and like have that structure. It's incredible. Like it slow you down and like just to be in your life, like not just running in your life. Yes.
Life is very slippery.
Yes.
Where you will slide and fall off and get caught up in everything. The world is trying to convince you what you are and who you are and what you should do, where it's got to be the complete opposite, where you determine what this is going to be, who you're going to be, what the world is going to be.
Taking control and using the power of your choice, like with whatever it is in your life. And like even just taking a pulse and like, who am I? What am I doing? What did I even do today? What did I eat today? I don't know.
But sometimes, especially when you're an entrepreneur and you work for yourself, you're just you're in the doing.
Yeah.
And this year's been a big challenging year, and I have to be paying attention to what I'm being more and more and more. And even back to that breath, my kids tease me. They're like, don't do that breathing thing. So I'd get angry, as moms do, and I'd be like, they're like, don't do the breathing thing.
If they see me getting like frustrated, they're like, my little one actually might be like, Mom, take a deep breath in.
Oh my God.
And take it so out. And actually, then I'm like, oh, wow, you're actually realizing that I'm having like a moment here, and I do it. And I'm like, thank you. I'm grateful for you right now.
They said it didn't work too well, but.
This is an example of how you shape your world, though, right? So it's not like all on your shoulders to have to be this powerhouse of control and self-mastery. Like you start to teach those around you who are meant to be in alignment with you to start keeping you in check. This is the iron sharpens iron, and everybody just kind of holds each other accountable to support and to have empathy and allow you to feel, but also guide you to the next step and the next level for your well-being.
Yeah. Even back to that breath work, what can people do in that one thing is stop, close your eyes, pause, just breathe 4 breaths in, hold it. I say 7 counts. Sometimes I can't get that because I have some breathing, long-lasting things. And then release it. Yeah. Again, interrupt that pattern is like, that's breath.
And the reason we were laughing when you said interrupt the pattern, it's like just the number one like foundational tool with hypnosis. And you were trying to say it. You can talk about it earlier.
We were talking about it earlier because my son was like, I want to tell a story, Mom. So my ex was like having an issue with my little guy. And I said, we were walking back and I said, all you need to do is pattern interrupt him. And my older one was like, Mom, he doesn't know what pattern interrupt means. Like, he thinks you're a weirdo.
Yeah. Well, like it's like changing the subject. It's like simply it. But it's just such a powerful tool that like, I don't know. I don't think we're even taught to do that because it's like momentum and the energy. Like, think about when you're pissed and you're like, yeah, and they did this and they did that. And it's like, oh, it's like this bigger and bigger. And it's like, it literally stop and like, even go on a walk or like call someone or whatever else. And it's like immediately that energy dissipates.
But I didn't learn that until I was in business for myself.
Totally. Yeah.
Right. I mean, and I guess I was doing it with my breath when my kids made me angry and didn't know it. And I didn't learn the association. And I did a Tony Robbins thing as well about interrupting a pattern. And it's just what you change a thought. It literally is a second.
Yeah, I know. It's
so simple, right?
It's simple, but so hard.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many different things that you can learn along the way, like, and you pick up and you resonate with it, right? So it's like, for me, I never realized how bad my roommate was until I read The Untethered Soul. Oh, and then I went through, and this was just recently. And so like, it's life just kind of drops what it needs, when it needs, that's going to resonate with you and you're going to take it with you and then teach other people around you. I mean, everything that you've taught us today or talked about is wisdom.
I'm going to look up a book that keep talking. I was like,
Well, there is one thought I had even to follow with that is that's why we love to have all different walks of life and all different types of conversations from these different categories, because sometimes it's going to hit for you and then sometimes it's not.
Right.
Like there's certain conversations that even like we've had like months and months ago that like only now, like I'll start thinking, I'm like,
hit.
oh my God, when Justin said XYZ about a certain supplement. And it was like at that time I was just like, my life was way too chaotic. I couldn't receive or like it didn't make any sense. And then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, totally clicks, get it. And it's like, sometimes that's how it is. And so it's really so wonderful to.
There's a book I'm trying to get. Okay, I'll start focus.
No,
I'll tell you. That's why
you're
I was like, I gotta find this book. Because this was the work that I did with my spiritual leader. And there's this word, that's the one thing is word retrieval, as gaining in strength. I have to change that word, right? It's just word retrieval. And then I'll be at plus menopause, don't even go there. But like, it's like chemo, medication, menopause. Yay!
Yes.
Yeah.
So being around people that are accepting of that too, again, who are you hanging out with? I'm like, this is what I'm thinking of. It sounds like this. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's it. And
you're
so,
around like a bunch of like telepathic people too. So I'm just like already like hearing it before you even hear it.
So yeah. But I'll let you know what that is. Yeah.
We'll probably stumble across it as we need to.
Yes.
Where's my book?
So,
I got the book.
I know we're coming up on time. Either we're going to have to do a part 2 if you'll come back.
Sure.
If you could just give us a little bit of what you're doing now, how people can get in touch with you, and anything else you want to share with our listeners on your current situation today.
I got the book. I just got to say, do you quantum think?
Wow. I've never heard that.
So, it's quantum thinking, right?
Okay.
Being it, right? Don't, what is it? If you don't fake it till you make it, be it till you become it.
Yeah.
This concept.
Be it till you become it.
Because
you're really
Yeah.
Right. And so the quantum think theory is what I've been working with for the last year, and just realizing, and we're human, right? So we're going to constantly be like, back and forth and back and forth. And so I'm like, dude,
beautiful.
like, stop it. Talk to yourself. So how can people get in touch with me? So I'm on Instagram, Ilanna_Fiorenza, ILANNA_Fiorenza, FIORENZ, like in Zoo, A. There's always a little shake. And then I'm having, if you're local to the area in Schaumburg, I am having a Back to Beautiful color analysis session. If color is your thing, I created so many beautiful things. I'd love for anybody to come test out my container that I created with my Radiance Reclaim. So this is my new baby. So I'm branching off with Mary Kay Cosmetics, doing it because I love it. It's made me who I am. But this ability to expand my reach in terms of this, it says, join me to embody your inner light and strength, and together in community, create a real vibe into your next best step in alignment, becoming, and magic. So
I love that. I believe everybody has their magic and they just have forgot it.
yeah,
And so just to remember that each one of us has magic is so powerful.
yeah. And people need to be reminded of that. So I created 4 times a month. It's called Radiance Reclaimed. I have a QR code to give out, and that's where you can reach me. And skincare, makeup, all kinds of
There's going to be a part 2 because I need color theory. She walked in and was like, I'm like, look at the color you're wearing. It's so beautiful.
Yeah.
She's like, I do color theory. And she's like, and you're not supposed to be wearing black.
There you go. See?
That's my entire wardrobe.
That's why she's here for us.
yeah, so color theory. And the analogy of what this all transpired was the yoga. And she talked about a glow stick. So I carry my glow sticks with me when I'm doing my public speaking. So I am a signature speaker and a motivational speaker. A keynote speaker is the goal. And so I always say I'm an emerging speaker because know exactly what I'm talking about, but I will get there. No, I do.
Yeah.
And it's really about the light and the darkness, because we do go through darkness each and every day. Duality. Yeah. And your mess of life and mess that I have of my life is the message for people. And that's why I'm here today, is no matter what you're going through, have gone through, maybe you're carrying it with you into your present moment, or let's be honest, you're really going into something if you haven't gone through it. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's going to be, or it was, or it's coming. The tools to get you through it, to become who you're truly supposed to become in this moment, is everything in this human experience that we're living. So
amazing. Well, thank you so much. This is such a great conversation. Is there anything else we want to say before we wrap up?
I got a couple questions. A little, not rapid fire, but no, these are more like just, your heart and mind into this. Your story embodies faith. How would you define faith?
Grounded, being grounded.
Mm-hmm.
I do believe that God is for me and with me in all times and all situations. And as I mentioned earlier, it's his provision or his protection. Someone I'm supposed to meet with and then I don't, protect me from being in an accident, or maybe them.
Right.
So I think it's getting grounded every single morning in that you're just the human and there's other leadership that's spiritually guiding you.
Nice.
Great.
And then the last one I have is, without the labels, without any worldly type of definition of yourself, who are you?
I am light.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good answer.
Did you know that answer?
Yeah, we're all light beings.
I knew what you were going to say.
Oh, it's amazing.
Yeah. I am light and I am love. I think that is why people are attracted, but it's also why I feel like my healing is an opportunity for others to heal.
Yeah.
I rise, you rise.
Woo!
Love that.
Guess what my word of the year is?
Is it rise?
Sorry.
There you go.
Oh my God, that's amazing. There you go.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a phoenix. So we're going to change that. This year.
Rising.
Wait, I do a word every year.
Mm-hmm.
And the word that I was diagnosed in 2016 was grace.
Wow.
Yeah. And the story goes, I had no idea how much grace I was going to need.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the spiritual
Nice.
question.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Great questions, Justin.
Good close. Did you have another one?
Namaste. Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. And anyone else last call?
No, we're good. I thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. You're so welcome. All right.
All right.